Unit 3 Study Guide, questions 5 and 6. Number 5, given an expression, negative 2y plus 3 halves x plus 7 fourths, which are equivalent to the given expression? Now that's interesting, which are equivalent. So it's looking like they're giving us multiple answers here, and it says select each correct question. So definitely they're urging us to look for more than one correct answer. Looking at this, you recognize, I'd hope you'd recognize, that this is already in simplest form. There's nothing you can do to simplify this. Looking at the solutions, these have not been simplified. Well, except for this one. This one is simplified. There's nothing you could do to this one. You have an x times y in here. There is nothing in here that would give us an x times y. So right away, we can eliminate that as a solution. There is no way that that is a correct answer. The rest of these, you're just going to have to do the work and simplify these and see if these will match up to equal that. Okay, so letter B, negative. Okay, the first part's simplified, and that does match with what we've got in our problem. Negative 2 times everything in here. Negative 2, it's distributive property. Negative 2 times this, negative 2 times this. So negative 2 times 1y is a negative 2y, which does match with what we have in our problem, so this is good. But now negative 2 times 7 halves, that would be negative 2 over 1 times 7 over 2. That's going to be a minus 14 over 2, or a minus 7. That does not work. 2y minus 7, that does not match up with our problem, so that is not a good answer. Problem, or example C, problem C, or answer C, minus 1/4 y. Oh, we've got a y over here. We also have an x. We're going to multiply this. We're going to get a y value, which we could combine with that. We could do that work. We could multiply this times the x. We'll get an x value. There is nothing in here that is going to give us that 7 fourths. There's no number here that is going to come out and give us a number. We're going to get a y value. We're going to get an x value. No extra constant, no number by itself. This answer is bad. Okay, which is starting to make you think that, hey, if they want us to have more than one correct answer, hey, maybe these are them. But let's check it out. 1/2 times 3x is times 3 over 1. That is going to give us a plus 3/2 x. Good, that matches. We'd have the minus 2y. That matches. 1/2 times 7 halves. You'd multiply numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. You will get 7 over 4, and it is going to be a positive, so plus 7 over 4. That does match, so yes, that is a good answer. Answer E, 1/4 times negative 8, you could put a 1 under this. That would give you negative 8 fourths. Negative 8 fourths does reduce. 4 would go into 8 2 times. That is negative 2y, so that part matches. 1/4 times 6x is going to be 6 fourths x. That reduces. That gives us a 3/2 x, which again, that is going to be a positive times a positive, so that's a positive 3/2. And then 1/4 times 7 is 7 fourths, and again, positive times a positive, it is a positive. That matches. Yes, that is the other correct answer. D and E are the correct answers to this problem. Problem 6 now is slightly different. They give us this expression. and they ask us which expression is equivalent to this given expression. Looking at the answers, these are all simplified, whereas the problem we're given is not simplified. So the main thing is simplify this and see which one of those matches. This first parentheses doesn't really mean much. There's no number out in front. If you wanted to put a number here, you could put a 1. 1 times all of this is just going to be 4x minus 3. That's not going to change. But this you need to do the distributive property. Negative 3 and 25/100ths times the x and negative 3 and 25/100ths times the 2. Negative 3 and 25/100ths times 1x is just a minus 3 and 25/100ths x. Negative 3 and 25/100ths times 2, do that off to the side, times 2. 2 times 5 would be a 10, carry a 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus the 1 is a 5. 2 times 3 is 6. Count your decimal places. There are 2 decimal places in the numbers we're multiplying. These 2, you need 2 in your answer. You get 6.5, 6 and 5/10, but it was a negative times a positive, so it's minus 6 and 5/10. Combining the like terms, the x's can go together. The 4x minus 3 and 25/100ths x. Well, to add and subtract fractions, we're going to subtract. Take the smaller one away from the larger one. We want to take the 3 away from the 4. Put the 4 on top, minus 3.25. We line up the decimal points. On 4, the decimal point would be right here. So we're lining up the decimal points. 3.25. Fill in with zeros. You're going to have to borrow from that 4. You can't subtract 5 from 0. You're going to have to borrow from the 4. That'll make this column a 10. That'll be a 3. That'll make this column a 10. But you're wanting to get a number over here, so you have to borrow from that. That becomes a 9. And now our hundredths column is a 10. 5 from 10 is 5. 2 from 9 is 7. 3 from 3 is 0. The larger amount's the positive. We get 75/100ths. We get 75/100ths x. And then for the constants, we're going to have a negative 3 minus 6 and 5/10. To combine those, again, adding and subtracting, line up the decimal points. They're both negatives, so we are going to add them. 3.0, we can tack on a 0 and add, we can put on a decimal point and tack on a 0. And 6.5, you're going to add them. You're going to get 5. You're going to get the decimal point coming straight down. You get 9.5. They're both negative. We get a negative answer. So it is minus 9 and 5/10. The answer that matches up with that is letter D. All right, and that